Your dark side has hidden gifts for you. But before we understand dark side or shadow side, we would love to explore what is personality. What is personality? Let me explain this to you by an example. Imagine that you are a kid and you live in this huge castle. It's so pretty, and every room has a big surprise for you. So, as a kid, you explore all the rooms, right? You go to each room, you have your favorite rooms, you have new rooms, and they're constantly building new rooms. So, it's so exciting, right? But then someone comes into your castle and they tell you that they don't like this room in your castle, or they hate this room in your castle, or they make fun of you for having a certain room in your castle. So you shut it down, you close it, and you forget about it, that it even exists, you know. So that is how the shadow side is developed. Your personality is this castle, and all of these rooms are basically the parts of your personality. And the rooms that you shut down because of someone else or because of some experience, they are your shadow side. It is an oversimplified version of how we understand shadow, but it has deep impacts. Now let me make you understand how does this affect you. You define your faults or your negative traits through these shadows. Whatever you are shamed for, you begin to think that it is negative, and then you start shaming yourself for it. It gives you guilt, it gives you regret, it gives you shame, and you ultimately have to let go of that to accept yourself fully. That you hate about yourself are actually your gifts. Let me explain. When I was young, maybe in my teens or whatever, I was told that I'm oversensitive. I have too many emotions. I have too many feelings. I get too sensitive about things. I get offended by things. I take life too seriously. And I hated that part of myself. I was not indifferent. I was not nonchalant or indifferent towards life. But when I understood this thing, that it is actually a gift of being empathetic, a gift of being sympathetic. People could talk to me about stuff that they could not talk to about anybody else. I'm sure that you think that you have certain flaws, but they will be your gifts the moment you become aware of them. Now, if we choose not to work on our shadow side, there are two aspects of it. Majorly, they are called as projection, but it can be subdivided into two parts: idealizing and judgment. I will explain both of these. First, let's go to judgment. We all know judgment, we all criticize others, we all think negative about others. There's a sense of us which makes us feel that, oh, I would never do that. I am not that person. I will never ever behave that way. Or, any other thing, that they are beneath you and you're better than them. That's how you judge them. But what if I told you that you are judging them because you have the exact same trait? You would be the same person in that particular situation or circumstance that you're hating them for. Because you have not accepted yourself or accepted that part of yourself, it comes out as judgment. And let me give you an example of my friend Karan. Okay, Karan hates idiots. You know, he's like, I can't deal with idiots. There are so many idiots in the world. Everybody is an idiot. And he thinks that he's that smart person. Right? But Karan does make mistakes. So why is Karan so impatient with idiots? When I talked to Karan, I realized that somebody in his childhood called him an idiot. And he did not forgive himself for making mistakes. He got overly critical of himself about making mistakes. He did not allow himself to make mistakes. So, because he did not allow himself, he was overly critical towards himself. That is what made him overly critical towards everybody else in his life. And in turn, what it did was that a brilliant person like my friend Karan turned into this irrational, over controlling, irritated boss or an employer or a friend or a partner, just because he did not address that concern to himself with empathy. This is such a subtle fact to understand, that you really need to look at the dark parts of yourself to really have a simpler, peaceful life. The second aspect of this particular thing is that We idolize people. Now, what happens when you're idolizing? You're subconsciously telling yourself that they have something which I don't, right? That's what idolizing is. It comes when you're seeing somebody living to their full potential or somebody living their dream and you start hating yourself. Or it is a form of subtle hate towards yourself that turns out into idolizing. Now, let me tell you this simple fact: the thing that you like in them, the thing that you're idolizing them for, is because you have it in you already. If you didn't have it in you, you wouldn't be able to recognize it in them. And that is the reason that you idolize, because you don't accept it in yourself, or you think that you don't have it in yourself, is the reason that you idolize the other person. So, what does this do to us? What does this make us? This makes us realize that judging others and idolizing others, both of them don't help us. If we are idolizing, we already have that trait. And if we are judging, that means we have that negative trait, but we are not ready to admit it. They both affect our lives. So when you stop projecting, like when you stop idolizing or when you stop judging, you truly accept yourself with that awareness. Now let's understand that I'm not telling you to be a narcissist, right? I'm not telling you that think that you have everything already. What I'm trying to tell you is that every person, each one of you, has everything, is capable of everything. That is the message. So no one's better than you, no one's beneath you. Someone is in a different state of their life and in a different circumstance, so they act differently. And someone is aware of their strengths and they're acting differently. And you can do that too. You can work on things that you call negative, and you can inculcate things that you think are so much better in somebody else, because we are all created the same. We are all a part of a singular consciousness. I hope this message stays with you because it's really important. So whenever next time you go to judge someone, you go to idolize someone, think, where is it coming from? And with that thinking, I'm sure your life will change. Thank you so much. I hope this brought value to your life. All the information in this video was taken from the book The Dark Side of Light Chasers by Debbie Ryan. And this book explores how does your shadow affect your day-to-day life. My name is Ananya and I run a digital book club called Atman. We read books about spirituality, psychology, philosophy, cultures, and if that interests you, you can subscribe to my channel. I post whatever I've read in the week, usually by the weekend. Hit follow and subscribe, and you can join me on this journey.